of course, it stops raining when you want the ambiance of the rain. Typical. One of the most common gear questions that we get on Dynamo videos from other rail fans is, what camera did you use to film this? Now, not everyone at Dynamo uses the same camera model or brand, but we are unifying slowly under this one brand. Personally, I feel that it is, at least for our workflow, the best camera and best camera brand currently available. Alright, so first things first, I'm obviously filming with one of my cameras. The camera I'm filming this with is my Lumix S5. Primarily this is my B cam. I don't generally use this on the tripod. It's generally handheld, gimbal, or occasionally loaned to another member of Dynamo. I also have a microphone already mounted on this, which is my Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. It is a mono-directional microphone, so it is definitely not ideal for recording trains, but for things like this with dialogue, it is by far the superior microphone. Alright, so first breakdown. I generally have two bags. This is the bag I've been using for the last 10 years. They no longer make it. It is from Manfrotto. It is the Backpack 20. I don't think they've made this for at least 4 or 5 years. The larger one is the Manfrotto ProLite Cinematic Backpack. There are two versions, the Expand and Balance. This is the Balance. The Expand is designed for cinema cameras. The Balance is designed for gimbals. Now, the whole reason I have two backpacks is cameras, studio. This is my mobile studio, and you'll see what I mean in a bit. Alright, so opening up the 20, which is my camera bag, as I said, and my essentially everyday carry. I'll bring this on every trip. First thing I have is the tripod camera, my A cam. This is the Lumix S1H. Very bulky, very heavy camera. I do, however, have it in a cage, which makes it even bigger and bulkier. However, this also adds weight, which, as I've said in my tripod video, is actually a very good thing, especially if you're going handheld. It makes it much easier to get smooth, stable shots. The other thing that this is really wonderful for is all the mounting screws and brackets. You can put quite a lot of additional equipment on the camera. Between my two cameras, this is definitely my preferred one, but it's also much more expensive, bigger, heavier, not ideal for all situations. And this is the microphone I use on my, essentially any Dynamo video where I'm recording a train. This is the Rode Stereo VideoMic Pro. This is actually the second one I've had. The first one died after about 8 years of use. The microphone itself still works. The cable is what gave out, so this is the replacement to that. Quite happy with them, honestly. 8 years of heavy use is pretty good. The two empty sections are what I'm recording with now. This is the S5, and this is the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Again, this is a mono mic, not ideal for recording trains. In here, this is a UV filter. I'll also put NDs in here, but right now, just a UV. And over here, this, obviously, brand new SD cards. This thing eats through memory like insane. As you can see here, this is a pair of 128 gigabyte V90 cards. This is like $340. This thing right here will eat through both of these in about 41 minutes of recording. So this is the backup for that. And this, empty at the moment because they didn't charge, they're brand new, are Rode Go 2. It's a wireless mic system that I'm planning to use for a feature-length documentary I'm producing. Though, one thing I discovered about these that the manual does not mention is that when you buy them, plug them in and charge them, they don't charge unless you turn them on. So I left them on a charger all night, thinking they were charging, but because they were not turned on, they weren't charging. So that's where they are. This is just a pouch for them. Up here, this is microphone cables, camera batteries. I already took the S1H's battery out, at least one of them. Lens cleaners. I don't generally keep anything else in this bag. It gets too bulky, and the idea of this bag is to be smaller and more portable and lighter, just something I'm actually willing to carry around. Because this thing is way too big and heavy to carry around all day long everywhere. Opening this one up, it would be confusing, I think, to most people at first, because it does not have a single camera in it. However, for what I do, this is probably just as important as the cameras. Like I said, this is what I call my studio backpack. This is a matte box from Smallrig. They serve various functions. Primarily it is blocking unwanted light, things like unwanted lens flares. And I'm not going to do it right now, however, this side tab allows for quick, easy swapping of filters so that you don't have to spend time screwing and unscrewing filters. It's just an easy pull out, pop a new one in, or you can even stack multiple. This is just the rain cover for the bag. These are all my chargers, external drives. Like I said, that S1H eats through memory like crazy, so this is 4 terabytes of drive space. Mouse for the laptop. These are various components for the gimbal. This is the tripod, the base plate, side handle, microphone wiring. This is just the caps for the Lumix cameras. And then in here in the side, those are all my cables. That is cables for laptops, cables for cameras, gimbals, you name it. If it's a cable, it's probably in there. This, very simply, is a handle. It is just the handle for the top of my S1H. It screws onto the top, gives me another place to hold it. Really wonderful, especially for documentary work. There's a lot of handheld that goes on that. Not much else in here. This right now, this is nothing but tools for that handle that goes on the S1H. Top, I don't usually keep much up here. I don't like to, as it's not padded. However, what is up here, I can find, there we go. M&H mouse pad. Of course, what would the mouse pad be worth if you didn't have your laptop with you? The side panel here. And I can pull out the laptop from in there. The laptop I use, this is now my primary editing computer. It's a couple years old now. It's an Alienware M15R5 Ryzen edition, Ryzen 9 processor. Really wonderful system. Was a little bit expensive, but I did get it on actually a pretty heck of a good sale. Has held up quite well so far. It comes with me on almost all of my trips now. Again, all because of the S1H's absolutely insane storage requirements. And then for here, that's just the charger for the laptop. More charger stuff. And then tucked away at the bottom is the reason I have this bag in particular. This is the, oh, came undone. There we go, locked up again. This is the body of the gimbal that I use. This is the DJI Ronin RSC-2. It is a more inexpensive gimbal than some of their slightly higher end versions, but is a wonderful device nonetheless. Absolutely stellar performance out of this thing. I used it quite extensively last year, and I'll probably end up using it quite a lot more this year. Alright, so that's all that there is to it. Both my camera bags, I do actually have a third that I occasionally bring if I have a whole lot of gear. It's just a small Nikon bag. I'll put both my microphones in there and all their cables. That opens up another space in the Manfrotto Backpack 20, the small one, in order to place an additional camera body or an additional lens, extra batteries, whatever I actually need that extra space for. But generally speaking, I'll use just these two bags, and that will be all the gear that I'll bring on most of my trips.